Okay, so thank you. So I will show you the development of Fripon network. So like everybody, we have problem with COVID. So we are stopped in the extension, but I'm sure that we will recover in the next months. So it's so many people know now the network. So you see here the last implementation of our camera. So they were mainly in Europe. So we have at that moment 100 in production and another 40 to come. They are already bought, and so they have to be installed. But as I said, we have problem with COVID, and also we have problem with the lens, because the lens was made in China, and the guy in China have a shortage in glass to make the one part of the lens, and so we have a shortage in lens, and so you just get the new lens 2 weeks ago, and so it was a big problem, but now it's over. And so we are also developing in Canada and in Romania. So in Romania, in fact, the camera were installed for a long time, but they were not connected in the Fripon VPN. So now it's done. So we start to have a lot of detection in Romania. And it was the same also in Canada. They were also blocked by winter and COVID. So they are still installed camera. So I can show you here. Here is all the detection. So at that time we have 5,300 orbits. So about 1,200 orbits per year. And so you see all the trajectory. So you can see that we have more trajectory in the south of France and also in Italy because the weather is better. But you can see also the start of the discovery in Romania. So Romania were connected only a few months ago. And also for Canada, they are connected just this summer. So there are just a few, but we are very happy with that. And so we have a big expectation for UK. So we have a lot of camera to install, also in Belgium and Germany. And more, maybe very important, we have also project in the south, in Chile, to fill the gap of the southern detection. And okay. And so we get also the here is a detection made by radar. So the radar was a Grav radar, and we were just receiver. And as you see, in fact, we have several type of detection. So in blue, it's only when we have the tail detection on the tail. Okay. In red, if we're on the head, and in purple, if we have both. So as you see, we have not so much detection. So only 2,000 on the 5,000 orbits, and especially we have very low detection for slow meteor. And for us, it was a bad news because we want to have a good accuracy on the trajectory with the Doppler echoes. But for low event, so especially for meteorite, for event with possible meteorite drop, it's quite no detection of this slow event. So this is the event, and so as you see, in fact, the radar Grav is most in the center east of France. So you have more aid echo in the south and more trail echo everywhere. Okay, so this is just statistic of the network since the beginning. So you see some shower, and you see in fact the expansion of the network. Okay, oops. So this is a map to show you all the radian of the detection. So you see the lack of detection in the south. And so we start a collaboration with a university in Chile. So the idea, we will get soon 10 camera in Chile, I think. So it will really fill the gap of the southern detection. and we hope to have this global map field. And so in other place also in South Africa, but it's not so good for the next camera than in Chile. So in Chile, it will be installed in the next month. Okay. So just to compare with other network, this is a graph show you the initial velocity of events. So from almost 10 kilometers per second to 70 kilometers per second. And you see the histogram of the detection, and you see that we have two population of event. The fast one, typical for cometary object, and the slow one, typically for asteroid events. And as you see with these this graph with two families is very different from other meteor network like ENMON or Sonotaco. And it's mainly because we are less sensitive, but we have a bigger surface of detection. So it's just important to see that with 3 point, in fact, we can connect the two worlds, the world of the meteor, so mainly comet, and the world of asteroid with near object. Okay. You can show after all this event, but you see that it's quite impressive. And so our database, we have 140 terabytes of data, and these are online. I will show you just next. Okay, so this is the database. So you can use it. So just in fireball.freepon.org. So you have a real-time event. So real-time event can be seen just after the event. So as I say, a few minutes after, you can see the event. You need at least 1 hour to get raw data, because we have to download the data, and sometimes there are slow internet connection. And for the reduction, in fact, it will be done the next morning. So it's not real data, but quite real data. So every morning, if I can check the data, and I can see all the orbits, the trajectory, and so on, something like that. So this is the data access. So if you have no account, you have at least many information. But if you have an account, you can have more things. So the account is just it's not restricted to people. If you ask, you have a link on the database, and you can ask me to have an account, and I can give you to everybody. Just so you have more data. And okay. And this is how it works. So this is just a copy of the database I made this morning. So we have the last event. So I can share you just after the big event we got in Italy. So it was yesterday evening. So if you see, you will see all the images of the detection. You see the map with the trajectory. You can see the astrometry of our camera. You can see the trajectory determination with the speed, the photometry, and the orbit. Okay, and if you go more deeply in the database, you have all this data that you can get. So the orbital element, the initial mass, final mass, with all the also the error on the determination. And okay, and so now for the result, I can speak about what we the previous years for meteorite. So the first one was in Italy, detected by Prisma Network. So in fact, FREEPON is just a consortium of many national networks. So in Italy, it is Prisma. So we recover this meteorite just 1st of January in 2020. Okay. One important one was Whitcomb meteorite, so the recover in UK. So I think Jim Rove will speak about that more. And because it's not only Freepon camera who helped to recover the meteorite. In fact, it was a lot of different networks, and it was very interesting, in fact, to share data with all the observation networks. Okay, so this is what we've done. Only with Freepon camera we can compute a dark flight and a speed. So the compute is the yellow point, and if you can see in purple, it was the location and the mass recovered on the ground. So you see that the strong field is quite good compared to the recovery of mass. We have just a shift in mass, but the path of the strong field is quite good. Okay. We have also an event in January this year, but it was just in January. It was also with COVID problem to go on the ground, and also there is snow at that time in Belgium, so it was not we did not recover it, but it was just some image of the research on the ground. So the snow just snowed 2 days after the fall. So it was not, we were not very lucky about that. Another interesting event, it was just this September, so in France, but unluckily we got this event just on the west of France, and in fact it fell in the sea. But it was very important. In fact, the guy in Brest heard a big bang, and so they can hear the window making noise. And you see on the right, we have the recording of the seismic network. So you can see the delay on the first one, the delay just due to the speed of. So we have still a problem about meteorite recovery efficiency. So we are still asking questions on the accuracy of the computation of dark flight. As Felix said, it's very important. It's a key problem for recovering meteorite. So we start to share data and to compare different computation, and so it's very interesting, but we have to do more, and for sure we have to collaborate, because it's a really tricky problem to recover meteorite. And in fact, most of the time, in fact, even in Italy and in the UK, in fact, it's public who recover meteorite. So we just say, yes, this is a strong field, and if you are in the region, just look if you can find strange things. So, for example, for the Belgian event, you see different computation made by the Canadian team, by Denis Villa, and also by Adrien de Villepoix in Australia. So it's interesting to compare and to be sure of some things. But the fact is that we use more or less the same coefficient. So what we found is very close from the different computation. So if it's another different, you see the strong field with in green, in yellow it is the Freepon computation, and in red it is a computation from a DFN guy, Adrien de Villepoix. So you see that is very close. Okay, so the conclusion and perspective, in fact, that we want to compute exactly the efficiency of the network. We are in fact lucky that all the cameras are the same, so it will be, I think, more easy to compute at the end, to compute in fact the exact mass of meteorite falling on the Earth per day. And so our project also is to develop photometry, because at that time it's not so clear. And so the guy, the Romanian guy, is working on this photometry problem, and because it is not included in the database at this time, but it is very important for to have another determination of the mass, because at that time our mass determination is only made by dynamical studite, or just with atmospheric drag, and also to develop a fast photometer. because it's important to have this absolute photometry, because even are not so sensitive and we have a high dynamic range. In fact, we saturate at about magnitude 9. So most of the big events are brighter than 9. And so extension of network, so mainly in the south to fill the gap. And so the further work is to search for families and also to share our data with other network. Okay. And just to finish, in fact, we just have in the same time a citizen to help us to search for meteorite.